This week on B30 Sports News.
Dominique says, Gracie Mike,
You mean to say that's the best you can do? You mean to say that's the best you can do? All that scratch is making you rich.
Hello and welcome to a new season of Penn State Beaver B30. I'm Zach Ulrich alongside Ty Cole. Ty, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Zach. You know, I'm excited to be on the show. I'm excited to be a part of B30 this year.
That's good to hear, Ty.
So today we will be covering the volleyball season wrap-up, men's women's soccer wrap-up, men's basketball preview, and a women's basketball preview, as well as interviews from reporters Jordan Price and Nick Casasanta.
First, let's start off the show with the 2015 PSUAC champions and the women's soccer team here at Beaver. In 2016, having an 8-9 overall record, a 6-4 PSUAC record. Big-time scoring for them this season as they had 64 goals in 17 games. Jessica Spina, the senior captain, 18 goals for the Lady Lions. And the Lady Lions this year made it to the PSUAC semifinals where they lost to Penn State Schuylkill 3-2. A heartbreaker for them to end their season. Ty, how would you wrap up their season?
I think this year they had a great senior leadership by Spina. She had 18 goals, so I'm sure they're going to miss her next year. But I know that this year wasn't what they expected. They think they want to go a little farther, but we'll see how they do next year.
And not all disappointment at the end of the season for the Lady Lions. They had a couple All-Americans and All-Conference players. Jessica Spina got first team along with Lauren Banks, and Adidas Bakuru got second team along with Brittany Zahn. The goalkeeper got second team as well. And Brittany Zahn, Ty, she didn't even start playing goalkeeper for the Lady Lions at the beginning of the year. So how'd she do mid-season playing goalie for them?
Well, she made all conference, so she must have done pretty well, Zach. But I know I know the goaltending's not her favorite, but I think she did a really good job.
Now let's send it over to Jordan Price and Jessica Spina.
Hello and welcome to B30. I'm here with women's soccer captain Jessica Spina.
Hi guys.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. So, what are your thoughts on the season just concluded about a month ago?
The season was an interesting season. Started off kind of rough. Didn't have that many returning players come back, but we struggled with commitment and people showing up to practice. But, I mean, with what we had, having to share a coach with the men's team, I think overall the team did, they overachieved. I think we overachieved.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
How did you feel about your team's performance in the playoffs?
Good. I think that was one of the best games we played, actually. Everybody seemed to have mushed together almost and really form as a team. We worked hard. That score was, I think, 3-0, and we brought it back to 2-3. I thought we were going to tie it and go into overtime, but fell short. But I think overall, that was a great game.
How many upperclassmen do you have on the team?
So me, Brittany Zahn,
Yeah.
Marissa Buckland.
The team was freshmen.
Most of the team was made up of freshmen, yeah.
Was it hard dealing with a lot of freshmen on the team? Just kind of going against the grain, doing their own thing. They probably had their own somewhat of a clique to stick together. Was it hard to get them to kind of buy into what you're trying to do?
Kind of. Compared to last season and this season, I don't know. Last season we were still a young team, but last year we were weirdly close, like a good weirdly close. But
it's a good thing though.
Yeah, it was a good thing, but this year it was different. There was cliques and everybody was kind of doing their own thing, and I don't know. Not showing up to practice is something that killed us.
Yeah.
So.
Was there any way to police them, to get them to practice, or?
Oh no.
No, they just did their own thing.
Yeah, we tried. We did everything we could.
Yeah. It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
So, what game do you think you played best as a team, and what game do you think you personally played best?
Well, the semifinal game, I think we played really well.
Mm-hmm.
Still fell short, but we came back. And also, we played Brandywine for the second time. And it was close. I thought we were going to win it, and they were scared. But I think we played overall the best Brandywine, and I think personally that Brandywine game was the best game for me.
How hard is it to balance schoolwork with soccer, like practicing games?
See, it's always a challenge being, right, entering the semester with school and soccer. But once you get into the groove of things, and it's all about time management, and working with your teachers, emailing them, letting them know when you're going to miss, it's not as hard as it looks.
Yeah. Would you say once you get older, it gets easier?
Yeah, definitely, because you're used to it. So I have a couple, seasons under my belt, but yeah.
It's definitely a lot tougher for freshmen to get into the swing of things.
Yes, exactly. But they'll get there.
What is the plan for you going forward after you graduate?
Okay, so yeah, after I graduate, I am hoping, as well as my dad is hoping, that I'm going to take over the family business. So from there, I think I'm going to take on the family business, and then maybe I want some corporate experience. I want to get in the corporate world, so we'll see.
Well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
There you have it. Jessica Spino.
So now we're going to move on to men's soccer. They were the 2015 PSUAC champs. In 2016, their overall record was 10-8 and with one tie. They were 8-1 in the conference, and they recorded a #1 seed in the playoffs. They scored 71 goals in 19 games. Sophomore Julius Alano led the team with 16 goals, and they lost in the semifinals in the PSUAC playoffs to Hazleton in penalty kicks. Zach, what are your thoughts on this season?
Ty, I think with Ileano scoring 16 goals, getting him back next season, they had a lot of senior leadership. Guys are going to lose and guys are going to miss. But having a lot of these guys come back, like Ileano and Domino and all them guys coming back, playing for them, I think they're going to continue their success. And a lot of the guys that I just named were all conference players. Dom Domino was first team along with Ileano. He was first team as well. Sam Sharpless, their goalie, was second team. He's only a sophomore. They had their midfielders, a couple of them were second team, and Galanko was second team at defense, and they get all those guys back. So all in all, I think that they did a very good job this year with a young team, even though they're losing their team captain and John Pogazelic. But I think they're going to do fine next year without.
Let's send it over to Jordan Price with John Pogazelic.
So I'm here with Jonathan Pogazelic of the Penn State Beaver men's soccer team. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. Just going good.
So first off, just want to see how your season goes. Just give me a brief recap of the season.
The season, it was rough off the start. We had a lot of young guys come in, and we lost a lot of veterans. Overall, we made it to the playoffs. It was a successful season. We finished #2 in the conference. Could have been one. We had a lot of close games and went down to the wire. Most of them we won, but we lost in the playoffs in the semifinals to Hazleton. Went to PK shootout. We lost in the PK shootout. But overall, I think we slightly underachieved as a team. But it's really hard when you have a bunch of new guys coming in to try to get them all on the same page and to build that chemistry that you need to become that championship winning team like they were the season before.
Were the freshmen just difficult to get into the chemistry? Were they just a little shy?
I think some of them were a little shy. Most of them were willing to work pretty hard. There was a few. It was a mixture of a little bit of everything. There were some difficult ones. A lot of them were really hardworking. I think most of them were. We actually had a few returning guys that sort of went against the grain the most. And when you have returning guys going against the grain and going against coach and some other things on the team and not buying into the program as it is, it makes it harder to get those freshmen on board as well. So, I think it was more that than the freshmen. But if they would have been returning players, we would have already had that team chemistry.
They know how it goes. Being your senior year, what's one thing you're always going to remember about Penn State Beaver soccer playing here?
That was probably the best 4 years of soccer I've played in my life. We had some teams that shouldn't have went as far as we did, and we overachieved. And I have friends from 4 years ago that I still keep in touch with to this day. And I think, just all the good memories and all the good friends that I've created. And the championship we won as well. But like I said, friendship and the success and the team bonding together was more important than any championship.
All right, and one last thing before I let you go. What's next for Jonathan Pogozellic?
For me, I'm looking to graduate in the spring. I got a dual focus. I'm working pretty hard. Got a tough semester coming up, and then I'm hoping to get out of school and hopefully get a good job, make some money, and then fund myself to go back to graduate school. I'm looking to pursue construction management or a certified project management degree.
Good luck to you with all those. And there you have it. That's Jonathan Pogozellic of the Penn State Beaver men's soccer team.
All right, thanks again.
Our next segment is women's volleyball. 15-14 overall record for the Lady Lions. A solid 11-4 in the conference, but earning a number 5 seed in the PSUAC playoffs, a tough conference overall in volleyball. And in those playoffs, they lost in the quarterfinals to Lehigh Valley by a score of 3-0. Ty Cole, what is your input on their season?
I think the loss of junior Jenna Petrucci, she was an All-American last year, I think that really hurt the Lions this year, Zach.
I agree, Ty. That's a big loss for them. She's one of their solid players, one of their better players the last couple of years, and losing her was big on the team. And not all disappointment again for the Lady Lions is they had a couple all-conference players. First team was Morgan Canister, an outside hitter. She had a very solid year for the Lady Lions. And for second team, Roxy Kai, the setter, and Juliana Kahn at libero, they both got second team honors. 2 players that had great years for them as well. And an honorable mention, a freshman, Amanda Mike, an outside hitter. And Ty, with the young team that Coach B.J. Burgess has, what do you think the future looks like for this team?
I think the future is very bright. You know, they have a young core, and I think they can continue to make strides in this program.
And now we will send it to Nick and Jordan with Juliana Kahn.
This is volleyball player Juliana Kahn, and congratulations on earning second team all-conference at PSUAC. What are your thoughts on the season that just concluded?
The season was interesting. It wasn't the best season, but it was fun. I think that we didn't go as far as we wanted to, but it was fun.
That's good. How did you feel about the team's performance in the playoffs?
I think that we played good, but our mental game wasn't there.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the mental game, you can't win games.
What was the best game that you played as a team, and what was the best game you played personally?
The best game we played as a team was probably the first game of the season against Maine Fort Kent. We played better against good teams and worse against bad teams. My best game personally was probably against Fayette.
Yeah, Fayette's a good team too. I mean, I watched the Maine Fort Kent team play, and they were very, very well.
They're ranked high, like nationally.
Yeah. They actually won a tournament here at the beginning of the season. I remember that.
Our next segment here is women's basketball, and one of the best award-winning programs on this campus so far. At 4 straight PSUAC championships for the Lady Lions, Coach Tim Moore sure knows how to win in the conference with a 71-13 overall record in this conference. But a couple key losses this year to the Lady Lions. Kalia Adams and Morgan Kurtz, both 1,000+ scores in their career at Penn State Beaver. And Ty, what do you think about the team without Morgan and Kalia?
I think they lose 2 of their biggest scorers ever here. Both were 1,000 points, and they were great players here at Penn State Beaver. They were both leaders, and I really think they're going to miss them this year.
I agree. 2 players that you know can get the ball and score at any time in the game. And Penn State Beaver, the Lady Lions, also got a new coach this year, Andrew Krasowski from Carlo, and he's made a big impact for the Lady Lions this year in taking over a lot of the recruiting for Coach Moore and doing a lot of the social media stuff for Penn State Beaver. And he's taken over and done a great job as assistant coach here. And some new additions for the Lady Lions. They got 7 new freshmen and 1 new transfer, so 8 new players for Coach Moore, so he gets a fresh look on his team. Ty, to this point in the season, at 4-0 in conference, how do you think these freshmen are playing for Coach Tim Moore?
I think they've really, really stepped up. You know, they've played a lot of solid minutes in some key conference games.
I agree. 2016 so far this season, they have a 6-2 overall record and a 4-0 record in conference. Great start to them in conference plays. They just beat a tough opponent in Penn State Du Bois, who's nationally ranked number 10, and they beat them by a final score of 71-58. And they have won 5 straight games now, and their next game will be tonight against Fayette as they look to continue their success in conference. What do you look forward to out of tonight's game, Ty?
I think that they should just continue winning, you know. They're 4-0. They've got a lot of momentum. I think they'll do a great job, and they'll get the win.
And talking to Coach Moore earlier in the season, they lost Morgan and Kalia, and they were looking for that scorer. And Mason DePietro, one of the seniors, and Cassandra Flowers, along with Asia Borders, them three have really taken over on offense for Beaver as Coach Moore looks to get them the ball more and get them some shots. And what do you think about that, Ty?
I want to congratulate Cassandra Flowers on her 1,000th point. I know that was big, and I think if they just run the ball through those three, I think they'll be fine.
Not to mention, can't forget about Coach Moore's 100th career win here at Penn State Beaver, who just picked that up last weekend here at home. So congratulations to him and Cassandra Flowers on Cassandra getting 1,000 point and Coach Moore the 100th win. And now we will take it to Jordan Price with Rachel Cummings.
With Rachel Cummings, freshman off of the Penn State Beaver women's basketball team. First off, I just want to see why Penn State Beaver. Why did you choose to come here?
Coach Moore has a very good recruiting process, so he honestly approached me first, and it wasn't my initial choice. I wasn't actually really looking into playing a lot of basketball in college. It was more focusing on my studies. But Coach Moore approached me early December of my senior year and was like, I like what I see, come and play. And then it kind of just worked out. I kind of looked into it more. The size of the school makes it very accommodating to being able to study and play sports. It makes it easy to handle and kind of juggle everything. So it all worked out. I looked into things and it went.
That's good. Now, how's everything going with the transitioning into going from high school to college?
It's definitely different. It's a lot of just learning. You completely restart over. You're new. You don't know where anything is. You don't know how things work. But as soon as you kind of just get your feet on the ground and kind of get your foot in the door, everything kind of just falls into place, and you kind of just learn as you go, and it just all kind of just falls into
How's the
place.
difference between being on a high school team, going from the oldest now being freshman, youngest on the team? How's it going, adjusting?
That's definitely, it's a huge adjustment. It's a completely different learning. You have to relearn all the players. You have to learn how things work. You have to kind of study your team and your players to know how to pass, know where they're going to be on the floor. And then, so it's just definitely a lot different. The girls are bigger. It's more competitive, but it's an easy adjustment once you kind of get into it. So.
How do you think your team's performing so far? I mean, it's early in this.
Yeah, it's taken a lot of different kind of combinations and learning. We've had a lot of injuries, so it's kind of been unbalanced and who gets thrown into what mix. But I mean, everyone kind of just gets on the court and makes things work, and you just kind of learn. So.
How do you think you've been doing your first 7 games in?
Pretty good. I mean, it's definitely, like I said, an adjustment. I mean, I've definitely changed positions a little bit from my high school, so I'm handling the ball a lot more, which is a lot different from what I did in high school. So that's a huge learning curve, and you're learning just how to read the game and with different people. But I think I'm doing decent. Every game you learn, and you just progress from every game, so it's going well.
It's easier every game. Now, are you excited to get back into getting in the midst of conference play now? It's getting started. Are you ready to?
Yeah, it's exciting. It makes your week go so much faster. We have 3 games this week, so it's literally right from the classroom to practice or to the game. So I mean, it's busy, but you kind of just learn to balance everything, and it keeps you. You have to manage your time to be able to do everything, but it's exciting because it's fun just to wake up and be game day. So
yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. Well, there you have it from Rachel Cummings, freshman on the Penn State Beaver basketball team. See you tonight in action against Penn State Fayette.
All right, thank you.
So our last segment here at the First B30 is men's basketball. Their head coach is Coach Brian Bybee. Their key losses were Lamont Wright. I know Lamont was a big piece on the season last year. They have 11 new freshmen, and 8 of them are out of state. Zach, can you tell me how these freshmen have performed so far this year?
Well, I think you look at this team, Ty Cole, and you see, Coach Bybee starts 2 of them in the starting lineup, Demetrius Moore and Dominique Stevenson. He looks to get a lot out of them guys. So, and they have a lot coming off the bench, and Damani Welling and Kevin Lewis Charles. They all come off the benches and give Penn State Beaver a big up when they come off. So I think the freshmen so far for the Lions have been really good to this point.
So far, the Lions are 5-5 overall. They are 2-2 in the conference. They're averaging 78 points a game. In their last game, they defeated Penn State Du Bois 92-56. And their next game is tonight against Penn State Fayette. Zach, can you tell me some about the senior leadership provided by Ignacio Lean?
I think you look at Ignacio Lean, you definitely see a leader out of him. He's a guy that gets pumped up on the court. He looks to pick everybody up. He doesn't get too emotional, but enough to keep the players in balance and everything else out of him. And it's good to see that from him after last year, kind of an off season for this team. And Elaney was one of the guys to go to last year, along with DJ Austin and Erica Loop. Them three were the guys that Coach Bybee really relied on to continue this tradition into this season. And Erica Loop and DJ Austin coming back for one more year next season. So Ignacio Elaney tries to continue his success here and teach DJ Austin and Erica Loop how to be a leader like that. And I think he's done a great job at that so far.
So now we're going to send it to Nick with freshman Demetrius Moore.
Demetrius Moore on the basketball team. He's a freshman. So Demetrius, why did you pick Penn State Beaver or Penn State University in general?
I think it was more for the education-wise. Get a great education out east, kind of get away from home, start my own new steps and traditions, and find a way to really try to rely on myself and on my family more, just becoming older, and just be able to play basketball and baseball again. It's one of the things I've had a passion for a long time, is to play college basketball, and now that I get the opportunity, I see that picking Penn State Beaver was the right choice, and I feel comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm. So, was it a tough transition going from high school to college?
Yeah, there are certain things that were hard. The classroom, and just the aspect of it, going from high school where you kind of have teachers on your case, and you got to get this and that done, and now that teachers really don't care.
A little more freedom, responsibility.
Yeah, teachers don't care if you do it. If you do it, it's great, but if you don't, they don't really care anymore. If you pass, you pass. They don't really get on your case about it. But on the court, kids are bigger and stronger,
right?
Faster, more developed, older. So it's been a lot to transition through it all.
Do you see a big difference between the pace of the game between high school and college?
Yeah, there's certain games back in high school where the kids were going to go D1, and you can see the pace of the game speed up, and then you play other teams that pace would be slow. But now it's like every game is up tempo, fast. Kids are much better. So yeah, the tempo of the game has very, very, very exceeded my expectations.
Yeah. Does it feel weird going from being a big fish in high school to coming to being a freshman again, all over again?
Yeah, it is kind of weird that, being being the all-time leader in my school, and then coming here, you have to start over. You're a freshman, then you got seniors that you were last year. You talk about down to the freshmen, teaching them, but now you're being taught all over again.
Mm-hmm.
So it is weird, because you had to take that step and maturity, and you have to kind of listen to your elders now, since the seniors are 25 and 24 years old. So
yeah. How do you feel you've performed thus far into the season?
I feel like I've performed pretty well. There's some things I need to work on, just because I'm a freshman. I can develop, and I really feel like rebounding and attacking the glass and scoring buckets inside the three-point line, I've been very effectively. But I think the one thing I need to work on is shooting outside the arc and shooting beyond the three-point line. But performance-wise, I feel like other coaches after games have said, I've been playing well as a freshman. There's another freshman starting on our team too, Dom, and I feel like we've as two stars on our teams, we've exceeded the pack. We came here ready and to grind, and we made our jump. But there's more jumps and climbs that we have to do to get it where we want to be and where we need to be.
It's a learning process.
Yeah.
Just keep getting better every day.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there you have it.
And to wrap up this episode of the B30, we'll talk about upcoming events, and we'll just sum up our show. For the upcoming events tonight, our basketball teams will be in action, as it is Ugly Sweater Night, sponsored by the Blue and White Society of Penn State Beaver. On January 20th, we have a beanie giveaway. And February 11th is Spirit Night. Also, it's senior night against our rival Greater Allegheny. And for the February 17th to the 18th, we will have a basketball tournament here. Men's basketball will be hosting a tournament. And that wraps up all the upcoming events here in the Beaver Fieldhouse. And to sum up the show here, we talked about all the wrap-ups here, men's soccer, women's soccer, and volleyball. Ty, what are your thoughts on how their season went?
I think they went rather well with some of the additions and losses from last year. I know both teams lost some seniors, but I think they'll just improve for next year.
And we talked about the basketball teams here, men's and women's, and they both have a lot of upcoming games left to play in this young season. But how do you think so far these teams are handling business?
So far, I think the women's basketball, I think they're right on track. You know, they're 4-0 in the conference. I think they're on their way to winning another PSUAC championship. And the men's basketball, I really look for them to surprise people. I know Coach Bivey's a great coach, and I know that they will play their hardest. So we'll see how it works.
Because I was going to put the cutoff.